Well, hello everyone. It's Diana from dianamarchand.com, and I help women lead healthy, happy lives full of passion and purpose. And welcome to this audio training. And this one is on the food. I thought I would do this one and get it out to everyone today because this, of course, the food is really one of my passions. And it is so important. Like mentioned, when I was going through perimenopause, I did notice some of the other symptoms, of course, but I wasn't quite sure what they were being caused by because at the time when I was going through it, I was very young. I was about 43 when I started noticing symptoms. And but that time I thought, people went through menopause really late in life, like 50 or over. So I did not expect it. But when I hit my mid 40s and I started to begin to gain weight around my midsection, that had never happened before. And even what I was doing as a personal trainer, a yoga instructor, and eating clean, what I thought wasn't working like it used to, I knew that there had to be something else. I knew that something was going on in my body that was causing this weight gain and me not being able to get rid of it as easily as I was able to before. And that led me into really researching and reading because I figured, I'm working out. So it's not that I'm not exercising. So what is it? So of course I knew it had to be the food. It had to be something to do with the food that I was eating at that phase of life that wasn't right anymore. Now, I guess I kind of always had this background belief or obviously knowledge that at every stage of life, we probably need to change what we eat. I mean, of course, as babies, you wouldn't eat what you ate as a baby when you're 10 years old. You wouldn't eat what you could eat when you're a growing teenager, as you get older. So, we have that understanding. But yet when we get to this age, mid-40s, the hormonal change age, whatever, why wouldn't we think, oh, maybe this is another phase of life that we need to change and adjust what we eat? I mean, it kind of only makes sense. Our body's changing. Things in our life is changing. The chemicals in our body, which is our hormones, everything's changing. So why wouldn't we think, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time we need to change again what we eat or how we eat. And that is exactly kind of what goes on. Now, I know there's different cultures that do not go through any of these symptoms or do not notice things. But so I'm basically mainly talking about the women of North America and what a lot of women that I help have come to me with and the things I discovered myself. So that is what I'm sharing information on, is what I discovered myself, what really worked for me. And what has also worked for many women that I have helped in my programs in coaching, because it makes a huge difference at this phase of life, what you're eating. What used to work in your 20s and 30s and even early 40s probably won't work anymore. So what's going on? Well, as we mentioned in the other trainings, your body is going through some changes. And at this stage of life, we tend to get more digestive problems, maybe acid reflux. So problems coming in that you never had before and can be very uncomfortable. Food sensitivity is very common. It's like what foods used to be able to eat. Now they irritate you. They bother you. Maybe dairy, maybe wheat, any type of gluten is starting to really bother you. And if you don't know if that's a problem, definitely Google like food sensitivities or symptoms of sensitivities to gluten or wheat or dairy and see if you have any of those. That's really how I learned. I did so much research on my own and found out what was right for me and what wasn't right for me. And then I tweaked it and tried foods, took out foods, and I really listened to my body and found out what reacted bad with me and what reacted good with me. So let's talk about food. Well, food has been such a huge part of our life growing up for most people. I mean, it's really all about ceremony, family, celebrations, holidays, fun. So it's so ingrained in our life, and it really has often emotional attachments. The comfort foods, the cultural foods, like I was married to Ukrainians, so the Ukrainian foods, the pierogies, the petit, all the really heavy stuff. It was eaten at times, family celebrations, holiday times, that had a lot of really wonderful memories attached to it and feel good, right? Very, very feel-good emotions. And so when we eat those foods, they give us those feel-good emotions. Our senses really do take us back to those times when, life was good or when we were surrounded by family. So they make us feel supported, make us feel loved. And often we go to those foods again when we need to feel supported, loved, when we're feeling lonely and we need to have that memory again of being comforted, being with family, being surrounded by love. So food has huge emotional attachment to it. As well as I want to talk quickly about the addictive quality of certain foods because they react in our body often like chemicals from drugs. And it really, really does. They have proven that. So if you're in the habit of eating a lot of starchy, white flour, heavy foods, fatty foods, preservative foods full of preservatives, which are chemicals that will completely react with the chemicals in your body, and definitely do have you can get dependent on them. Deep fried stuff, sugary foods, all of this, your body can end up becoming addicted to them. And so when you try to decrease eating them or go off them cold turkey, you go into like withdrawal symptoms, just like you would from a drug. Your body's so conditioned to have them, it is like a drug to them. And then when you don't give it to them, they're like, I want it, I gotta have it. Your body will send you signals of being hungry, of cravings, wild cravings that you're like, I just gotta have this. So then it affects your moods. So then you'll get cranky, you'll get irritated, you'll get anxious, you'll get more. Foods can also affect us very highly in aggressive behavior. They've proven this in studies. Make some people very aggressive. Certain foods can make people depressed. So the way that the white flours and sugars and all that react in our body can actually change the chemical balance and make us feel depressed. So there's so many things about food, too much that I can actually go into here, but I'm just touching on that. So we have the chemical layer, the dependency on addictive behavior of the foods, plus the emotional attachment to foods. So if you're wondering why it's so hard for you to cut back, get rid of, take out some of the foods that you love, those are reasons why. So it's really about focusing on the good stuff you can bring in. And this is how I work with my program and my courses and workshops. I really talk about all the really good foods that you can bring in. So it's all about bringing in good. So we're not focusing on getting rid of, taking out. You're not focusing on deprivation. You want to focus on what you can eat, the good stuff you can do for your body, how your body's going to react when you bring in the right foods, how good you're going to feel, how healthy you're going to be, what your life's going to look like in the future when you have more energy, when you feel more vibrant, when your health improves, when the inflammation decreases in your body because, foods cause inflammation in the body. Acidic foods cause inflammation. So you can really change your moods, your weight, your health, everything, the way you look, your skin, by what foods you eat. And I'm also talking about things you drink. So I'm lumping that in there too. So what things, first of all, we will talk about what things are in that you're probably consuming now that are kind of not so great for you. Well, you can Google acidic foods. So you can Google list of acidic foods, which are foods that cause inflammation in the body, can lead to illness and disease. And I'm going to just touch on those. Some of those are wheat, dairy, the glutens, the white flours, alcohol, sugar, meat, dairy is a huge one. All of those, that's just a quick list. All of those foods are what we call acidic. It's just the way the body processes those foods and the ash that's made when they're metabolized. Those foods are what cause your body to react by inflaming, so inflammation within the body. And the foods that are alkaline, and you can Google alkaline foods, those are the foods that are going to help to heal your body, naturally detoxify your body, get rid of the toxins in your body. They're going to decrease inflammation, give you energy. They are the antioxidants, the phytonutrients, the vitamins, the high minerals, essential fatty acids, omega-3s, all of the things that are fuel and food to your body, to your cells. So the health of your body starts with your cells. When your cells are healthy, it builds better organs, tissues, everything else. So you want to give your cells the right nutrients. So what happens now in our society is that we feed our body stuff that we think is going to fill it up. So, I'm hungry. So for lunch, I need something to fill me up. I'm hungry. So for dinner, I need something to fill me up. What are you looking at? You're just looking at foods to fill you up. A plate of pasta is going to fill you up. Is it going to feed or fuel your body? Absolutely not. Especially the pastas and what they're made out of now. White flour pastas will not fuel or feed your body in any shape or form. Zero nutrients, basically. So you're eating filler. So your cells are not getting any nutrients. So when your cells do not get nutrients, what happens? Well, they do not perform properly. They may die. They may multiply. Like if they do multiply, they're going to. So a sick cell is not going to multiply into a healthy cell. It's going to multiply into another sick cell, right? A cell without anything. So you got to remember that it's just like your car. You would fill your car with the proper fuel. So if your car is out of gas, if the tank is empty, you're not running around going, I need to fill my tank with water. That's going to fill your tank, but it's not going to run your car. You're not going to fill your tank with Coke or a whole bunch of pop. Yes, that will fill your gas tank, but it's not going to fuel your car. Same thing goes for our body, yet we do not understand that. So what you need to put into your body is foods that are going to fuel and feed your body, the proper fuel for your body. And those are foods. So you're looking more at what's in the food I eat, not how much food I'm eating. That's why counting calories, counting points, all of that weighing your food makes no difference at all. You know, a cup of sugar is a cup of sugar. I don't care how bulky it is, what size it is, how much it weighs. It still is not something you should feed your body. You know, there's a cup of broccoli, but what's in the broccoli, right? So you're looking at the nutrients that are contained in the food. So even calories. So you're looking at an avocado, it's high in calories, but so is, you know, fat, like meat fat. And they're both a fat, but one's a good fat, one's a bad fat. So you cannot measure, weigh, look at portion sizes. You need to look at what is in what nutrients are in the foods you're eating. You probably know yourself what foods would have nutrients, what foods would not have nutrients. White bread, no nutrients. Even whole wheat bread, really no nutrients because of the way our wheat is processed now. So you really think about what's in the nutrients, you know, so you're going to bring in a lot more veggies. You're going to bring in a lot more fruit, like good quality fruit, not the fruit that's in the syrupy sugar flavors, not the yogurts. Again, dairy's high in, it's acidic, it causes inflammation. Dairy's mucousy for the body. Lots of people have allergies to dairy. Don't think about the calcium. There is more calcium in good green vegetables than there is in this yogurt. Yogurt and dairy has more negative effects on your body than positive. And there's lots of calcium, other things too. So it's really about bringing in more nutrient-dense foods. And so we're going to talk about some of those as we go along. Okay. So, you know, our society, of course, has requested fast, easy, simple takeout, take-home packaged foods that sit on the shelf, cupboard, and freezer and can last a long time. Well, that's the mistake right there. So in a way, we are responsible for what we are getting, how bad the food has become, because we've kind of asked for that type of food because of our busy lifestyle. So if you have such a busy lifestyle, my thing about it is you're going to eat simple. You're going to eat really good, healthy foods, but eat them in a simple way. If you had to if you had to make them in complicated recipes and all this stuff, you probably won't do it. So the best thing is to think simple. More vegetables into your meal, raw and cooked as much as you can. Less meat, less dairy, less of the other bad stuff. Doesn't mean you have to go cold turkey or give up everything you like. What I say is absolutely start by increasing more of the good. Now the fake food, what it causes is, like, that's the packaged, the preserved, all those foods that sit on the shelf and sit in your cupboards, and, you know, bread that does not go in the freezer and sits on a shelf for 3 weeks has a ton of preservatives. Bad stuff for your body. Toxins in the food, you know, cause the weight gain because your body can't process the toxins. It has nothing, it can't metabolize them, so it has to store them. Where does it store the toxins? In fat, in your body tissue, water retention, puffiness. Now, when the bodies are full of toxins and your liver can't process the toxins fast enough, the toxins will seep through, try to get rid of. So you get rashes, you get skin discolorations, a lot of blotchy skin, lots of age spots, I believe, because I don't have age spots. I'm 52. When I changed my diet, my skin became very, very clear, not blotchy at all. And actually, since I've been having wheatgrass powder or wheatgrass, I've had way less gray hair. So I see how the foods that we're going to be talking about, they are anti-aging foods for sure. Getting rid of the foods that highly allergic reactions in our body, like the corn, the soy, the genetically modified corn, which all corn is basically soy. Most of the soy products are. The dairies, for sure. And any foods that has preservatives. All you have to do is read labels. Read every single label of everything you buy, even if it's organic, even if it's gluten-free. They still have tons of chemicals. Those chemicals in the food are what cause the problems in our bodies. Okay, so really be aware of that. They can make you tired, exhausted, depressed. They can lead to hyperactivity, to brain fog, lack of motivation, hard to focus. They will cause you to become addicted to them. You become emotionally attached to those things. And they just leave you kind of walking around feeling like you're half dead because they play around with the chemical balance in your body. They cause your body to be full of toxins. So you can imagine something that's full of toxins cannot function properly. It weighs you down, bogs you down, really makes you feel like crap. Like that's all I can say is most people are walking around looking and feeling terrible because of the food they eat. That is truly what it is. So what are some of the foods? Well, we have like some of the superfoods that I talk about. So foods that contain high in nutrients. The nutrients that feed and fuel our body. Hemp seeds, chia seeds. Excuse me. So dry here in Alberta. My throat is just, I'm having a hard time with this. Goji berries, right? And then buckwheat, something like, changing the wheat and the gluten products into something like making your own flours out of oats or buckwheat, things like that are less acidic, don't have the gluten and wheat in them. Millet, I'm not going to cover too much on those. Quinoa, which is, higher in protein, things like that. So you really want to bring in some of the good healthy foods. And then I'm going to talk about the easiest way to bring in huge amounts of nutrients in your day. Absolutely the easiest way is to add some super powders to your smoothies. That is the number one easiest and fastest way to bring in huge amounts of vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients, essential fatty acids, omega-3s, amino acids, which are the building blocks to proteins. This is the fastest way. So there are hundreds of super powders. You could even go on Google and just Google, some healthy super powders or something and read about them. In Canada, we have a brand called Organic Traditions, and it has tons and tons of super powders. It has some Ayurvedic herbs, so some Indian super powders that they've used for centuries, probably some Chinese herbs that have been used for centuries in medicinal medicine. All these things are starting to come back now because they're realizing they're food. They're from plants. They're from berries. And what they do is they freeze dry them, grind them up so we get them in a powdered form. But they are a powdered, pure form. They are not mixed with anything. They are not mixed in a formulation. And take a drink. They're not mixed in, I don't know if there's some multi-level marketing companies that have these formulations. They talk about the miracle benefits of this one thing like moringa or something, ashwagandha or whatever. But yet it's a tiny amount mixed with a whole bunch of other stuff to flavor it, to make it taste good. People drink it and get miraculous health benefits, but really they're getting so small amount of the actual active ingredient that for me, I believe in having the actual ingredient that has the health benefits in its purest form. So you can buy moringa powder. It's MORINGA. You can Google that. Boost energy, improve digestion, your immune system, improves mood. It's anti-inflammatory. It's high in antioxidants, high in vitamin C, vitamin A, high in minerals such as iron, magnesium, calcium, potassium, and etc. So as you can see, just by adding that one super powder to your smoothie, What huge benefits. How easy is that? How much would that cost? Big bag of moringa, like I'm talking big bag, is about $24. That could last you months. So you can see the cost is very cheap buying it in super powders. You're getting the active ingredient that has the health benefits. You're getting it in a pure form, nothing else mixed with it. You're getting it in an organic form, and you're putting it in a smoothie so that it's so bioavailable to your body. And in a smoothie, it's also mixed, of course, with fresh greens, fresh fruits that have a lot of other benefits for you, with water, to help hydrate you. So all of these good nutrients are going right into your body and into your bloodstream and feeding the cells of your body. There's ashwagandha, ashwagandha. It's good for your immune system, your memory, learning, helps anxiety, and helps you to handle stress. It's great for blood sugar regulation. It's an anti-inflammatory, etc. So it's a very good one for also women at this phase of life going through perimenopause and menopause. And it's an Ayurvedic herb, and it's been used for centuries in Ayurvedic medicine. Now we're looking at a camu, which I use every day, all the time. CAMU. It is a berry. It's from a berry. It's like nature's vitamin pill. It contains high amount of vitamin C, more than any other food. It has 60 times more vitamin C per serving than an orange. It is antioxidant rich, for sure, of course. Potassium, calcium, protein, beta-carotene, amino acids, and powerful phytochemicals. So see how great that is. I use it all the time, and it's great for people who tend to build your immune system. People who tend to get colds or sickness, add that, you'll be healthy. Spirulina. Now, spirulina is an algae that contains 65% or more protein. It's the highest source of protein found in any food in the world. Now, it's a green powder. It's an algae. It does have a bit of a taste, but it's actually not that bad. Really good mixed in smoothies. Ounce per ounce, it offers 12 times more digestible protein than beef. It also contains 8 essential amino acids, so it's a complete protein. It's rich in vitamins of A, Bs, vitamin Bs, E, K, and vitamin Ks, of course. Really rich in chlorophyll, because it's super green, which is really good for your blood. And it's rich in iron. So you see, adding these foods, are incredible for your body. I use chlorella because I have a sensitivity to spirulina. Chlorella is also an algae, very high in chlorophyll, very high in protein, rich in vitamins, minerals, amino acids, essential fatty acids. So these algae are really high in essential fatty acids too, because they also come from the ocean, right? It's 60% more a pure digestible protein. So again, it's very high in protein. We got to stop thinking that we get only protein from meat, because meat is one of the worst sources of protein for us. It contains high amounts of vitamin C, E, and B vitamins, folic acid, beta-carotene, lysine, and iodine. Iodine, very important for thyroid function. It's also rich in iron and calcium. CHLORELLA, chlorella. Now, chlorella does have a fishy taste. So what do I recommend for people to start with, as in a super powder? A green powder blend. Now, go to a good health food store. Ask them, can I have a really good green powder blend? And if you live around Vancouver Island, even in Edmonton, there's a great brand called Harmonic Arts. Harmonic Arts. They make one of the best powder blends, green powder blends. And the green powder blends are going to have a mixture usually of spirulina, chlorella, wheatgrass, barley grass, alfalfa seed powder, a whole bunch of things that are really high in protein, chlorophyll, iron, calcium, what else was I going to say? Protein, of course, amino acids, vitamins, phytonutrients, phytochemicals, all of those things that are So going to feed your body and fuel your body and your brain. So green powder blender, blend, best thing to start with. Camu, moringa, ashwagandha, just some of the ones I talked, we're going into. Those ones too can be added also to your smoothie. Start with, a small amount, half a teaspoon, bring up to a teaspoon or more. Go with your taste. Start simple, add it in later. Excuse me, there goes my throat. Oh my God. Sorry. It's just such a different climate here. I moved from Vancouver Island to Edmonton, Alberta, which is really, really dry and cold here, so having a hard time. Acai berry. You've probably heard of acai. So it's ACAI and the wonderful benefits of it. So that is something you can also buy in a powder form and add to your smoothie. And it really does have more of a berry flavor, so it's actually quite good mixed in your smoothies. Okay, so there are many, super powders. There's many green powder blends and everything. So it's really about starting with one, seeing if you like it. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to email me, diana@dianamarchand.com, or get in touch with me on Facebook, and you can ask your questions. Make sure that you have joined my Facebook community, Women Creating Healthy Lives with Passion and Purpose. And that is where you can get on and ask me questions. If you have a question about a powder blend or a superfood or anything, just get on there and ask me the question, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay? Because I don't have time to go into every single thing on this audio, as much as I'd like to. Okay, so we talked about the type of food your body really needs, right? So you're going to be looking at food that contains the fuel your body needs, contains all the wonderful nutrients that your body does. Now, I didn't talk about flaxseed. Yes, flax is great. I mean, it's one of those things that I think most people know about now, so I'm not going into great detail about it. But, yes, getting flax any way you can. And another way to get some of these great ingredients is you can make your own flours. You can grind flax seed, and you can use in baking ground flax. You can use buckwheat. You can use ground quinoa. You can use ground oats and stuff. But at this phase of life, too, if you're having issues with weight gain, one of the things that you really need to cut down is starches. So baking, for one, is huge, right? Like if you're thinking of muffins and cookies and things like that, those are going to add on the weight. You eat those right now at this phase of life, you're going to keep the weight on, or the weight's going to keep piling on. And this is what I found. One of the things that I found that worked the best for me to get down to a weight I was in my 20s, at 47, 48, which is pretty much unheard of. What worked is I did let go of the starches. I wasn't eating potatoes. I wasn't eating lentils, beans, breads, anything like that anymore at that phase. Now, that may sound drastic to many of you, but what I did is I was just determined, because I was also a personal trainer working with women who wanted to lose weight and all of this. I was like, I want to find what works. And so I just said, I will do whatever it takes to lose the weight. So I felt good again. And the fastest route was to do something that was probably a little more drastic, was to get rid of all the starches. And I tell you, that works really fast. I also stopped eating meat protein, but it never really digested well with me anyways. Only made me feel constipated, bulky, and bloated. But that's me. I'm not saying it's you. So I just got rid of all the food that was heavy and starchy for me. But what I did at that time was I found raw food recipes. And I fell in love with preparing raw food. Now, raw food, let me tell you, it does not mean it's low in calories. Because especially if you look at some of the raw desserts, so if you're missing the desserty type thing, look at raw food desserts. Yes, they contain nuts and stuff like that. That seems to be higher in calories, but they do not contain starches. And for some reason, we're able to eat more of the good fats, and we have to eat less starch, the flours. So it doesn't mean you have to give up desserts or things that taste really scrumptious and good. You just need to change what types of those things you eat. So I highly suggest you look up raw desserts or raw things, snacks, things like that, raw food recipes. And I have some on my site, Raw Foods Made Simple, and on my YouTube channel, Diana Marchand. Look at some of my older videos. I have a ton of recipe videos for those types of foods. Start eating those. Get rid of the old sugary, starchy, floury snacks, desserts, cookies, muffins. Now, does it mean you have to give them up 100%? No, you do not have to. But you're going to use, let's say, ground oats instead of white flour, right? Ground buckwheat, some things like that. Now, the gluten-free flours contain a lot of potato starch, tapioca starch. Those still are not good for you. No nutrients, zero nutrients, heavy starches. You eat too much of those, you're going to continue to put on the weight. It doesn't matter if it's gluten-free or not. You're going to continue to put on the weight if you eat that starchy stuff. So it's really up to you how clean you want to go, how important it is for you to lose the weight if you have weight you want to lose, how important it is for you to say, I'm going to eat clean. Everybody's different. You know, the less drastic you go, the slower the process is going to be. So it's really about how you want to work. And that's what I do with women in the programs, is I find what works perfect for them. And you can imagine when you want to give up some of this stuff, right? You kind of panic because you're like, what am I going to eat? Oh my God. But you know why people are so successful in my programs is because I give them delicious recipes. I give them the right things to eat. And, you know, when you have the recipes, when you have the ideas, when you have food you love to eat and food that really fuels your body, you do not miss the other stuff because you begin to feel better, more energy. Your body doesn't feel as heavy because you're not eating the toxins and stuff. You're able to, it doesn't fog your mind. You get clearer thinking, able to focus and concentrate. Your cravings greatly decrease, like to the point of you don't miss those bad foods. You don't miss those foods. I mean, women over and over again have said to me, I cannot believe I don't miss bread. I don't miss having the cheese like I used to. I don't miss, you know, I'm not grabbing for crackers and chips and all of this stuff anymore because your body is being fed the proper nutrients. When your body is fed exactly the right foods it needs, it signals, you fed me, I'm not hungry anymore. But when you're feeding your body foods that do not contain nutrients, it's not really being fed. So it's going to send off signals continually telling you it's hungry, feed me, please feed me. And so you're going to think, oh my God, I'm just always hungry. I guess I need to eat a lot. So you can, if you continually fill your body with filler that has no nutrients, your body's still not going to get fed. It's still not receiving what it needs. It needs vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, omega-3s. That's what the fuel it needs. It doesn't need a bagel. It doesn't need a sandwich with bread. It doesn't need lunch meat, which is full of preservatives. It doesn't need any of that crap. What it needs is good food, like, you know, quinoa is a good food. Like, so if we're talking it needs, like, broccoli is a good food. Like, the vegetables really contain the nutrients your body needs. The avocados, the good fats, right? Even nuts and seeds to some extent, right? Even if you're still eating, I still eat fish, you know, a good fish, good, clean, wild-caught fish, right? So some people may agree with me, some people not with that. I also consume farm eggs, you know, that's from a really good, reputable farm. That's me, though, because my body does better eating some of that stuff. Look at some raw food recipes. Like I said, Raw Foods Made Simple. That's my site, my old site, or my YouTube videos, and find some really good, great tasting, highly nutrient dense foods and recipes. It doesn't mean you have to eat all raw foods. That's not what it means. You can lightly cook vegetables. You can still have a few of the squashes, right? It just means changing how you think about meals. We used to think about meals. You know, you'd have a lot of protein, a lot of your meat protein, a lot of the starch, and then vegetables used to be the small part of the meal. Maybe you had a little side salad that had only basically iceberg lettuce in it, like a cucumber, slice of cucumber in it. So when you're making your salads, think of a whole bunch of vegetables in them. You know, maybe put a few chickpeas in there or a few beans in there, but mainly the most You want the larger portion of all your meals to be vegetables, to be the vegetables. Yes, like I said, if you don't want to get rid of some of the other stuff, make those now smaller portions. And smoothies. Take another drink. So I talked about the super powders to put in your smoothies. What else should you put in your smoothies? Excuse me. Well, in my programs too, you do get tons and tons and tons of recipes for smoothies, how to use the superfoods, how to use the super powders. And believe me, these things you can buy at a health food store or regular grocery stores. So if you go into one of the programs too, it does not have stuff in it that you won't be able to find. I use real foods. Believe me, I do not go make you spend a whole bunch of money and join a big supplement thing where you have to order these special foods and supplements. That's not me at all. You will be making your food, and believe me, it's not going to be complicated. I like to keep things simple. When you're making changes in your life, the best thing you can do is to make it simple. Then you can actually do it. And when you learn it and it becomes part of your everyday life, it is so easy then, because you just do it. You know exactly what to eat. You know exactly how to make it. You know exactly what works for you. Doesn't that make life so much easier? And you feel fantastic. So in your smoothies, make sure that you're using, let's say, just water with some frozen fruit, and you can cut up your own fresh fruit, or you can buy bags of frozen fruit. Fresh greens, I mean just spinach or collard, Swiss chard, kale, romaine lettuce even is good in protein. And what else? I'm trying to think of other things. Parsley, a bit of parsley is even great in a smoothie. I think buying organic greens is very important, right? So you don't want any toxins on your greens. So buying the greens organically, adding those to your smoothies. Then putting in a super powder. I put in about 4 super powders in my smoothies. You can start with a green powder blend. Perfect. Start with half a teaspoon. Get used to the flavor. Build it up. Don't go complicated. Don't go crazy ingredients in your smoothies. Keep it simple. I will post some smoothie recipes on the Women Creating Healthy Lives with Passion and Purpose Facebook page for you guys. So look at that. You can look at my YouTube. I have some smoothies in there, my YouTube videos. So just get some great smoothie recipes. Find one you love. Stick with that for a while so that you're not having to measure and try new ingredients all the time. Just keep it simple. Start with great, wholesome, real food ingredients. Okay, portion size. If you eat foods that are high in nutrients, like vegetables, fruits, some of the things that, I talked about, they contain the good nutrients. Even an avocado has good fats. So you don't necessarily have to worry about too much about portion size. And the one thing is when you eat the proper nutrients that your body requires, your body actually is being fed. So it will shut off the hunger. So it'll stop and say, I'm hungry. I'm full, sorry. That was a mistake. You'll eat and all of a sudden you'll feel full. So don't worry about it. You will feel full. It's not like you're going to overeat on some of these really good, highly nutritious foods because you're just used to thinking about overeating on foods that have no nutrients, which is easy to do because your body never really sends out the signals that it's been fed. So it continually could eat and eat and eat and eat. And when you overcook foods, when food's cooked past a certain temperature, which is about 118 degrees, the nutrients in that food decreases. So your body also gets less nutrients from the food. So let's say raw broccoli compared to cooked broccoli. Raw broccoli has more nutrients in it, more vitamins, minerals at higher quantities because it hasn't been cooked out or killed. Vitamin C is killed, right, after it's cooked at a certain temperature. So that's why, of course, raw food is also more nutrient dense, more healthy for you. Now, I used to be high raw. I'm not anymore. So I'm not preaching being high raw, although it's really healthy. It is not for everybody. I believe in finding what works for you. The most important thing is that every woman is different. And at different stages of your life, you require something different too. So it's realizing, okay, I'm different than my friend. So even if my friend did really well on one diet plan or whatever, it doesn't mean it's the right one for me. And so you need to find what makes you feel the best, what makes your body react the best. So if you're gaining weight, eating a certain way of eating, knowing that that's probably not right for you. So you just need to tweak your eating to find out when you start to stabilize and then begin to lose weight or begin to feel more energized. Your skin looks better, more clear, looks more youthful. Your skin, nails, and hair become stronger. Then you know, yes, I'm finally getting the food that is right for my body. And that's what I help women understand and find in my programs, because every woman's different. I don't say that, there's one perfect thing for everybody. That's absolutely not true. It's more about understanding your body, being able to know, feel, understand what works right for you and how you know what works right for you. And then the recipes, the foods, how to bring this into your life. How do I make this type of food, and making it in a fast, simple, and easy way. That's totally how I work with people, just to let you know. And that makes it so much easier. So you don't focus on calories, points, weighing your food, how big your portions are necessarily. You don't need to count protein, carbohydrates, and all that. I'm not going to talk about protein in foods in this one. Just note that all foods have protein. A banana has protein, vegetables have protein, broccoli is very high in protein. Okay, and that you don't need meat to get the proper amount of protein in your diet. Because if you look at a lot of people who are vegan or raw foodies, they're very, very, very healthy and they do not eat meat. It doesn't mean that just because you're a vegetarian or a vegan that you are going to be healthy, because there's a lot of crappy, fake vegan food out there that I do not believe in. I am not vegan because I believe in eating food that my body reacts best to, food that is real, food that does not have any preservatives in it. A lot of vegan food's really high in wheat, gluten, and soy. So I do not eat those foods either, okay? I'm just looking through my notes to make sure I covered everything. I know this audio is longer, but because it is, of course, to me, one of the most important things. Yeah, I think I've covered basically everything, guys. So I know this is longer, but it's chocked full of fantastic information for you. I really want you to understand this aspect, that now that you're at this phase of life, yes, it's time to change what you eat, but it doesn't have to be a difficult thing. It doesn't have to be a struggle. I don't want you to panic, go into, oh my God, I can't do this, or go into the old resistance. When sometimes we need to change things, we don't really want to change, or a resistance comes up within us. And that's what stops us. That's what gets us to quit. That's what gets us to give up, get hard on ourselves, beat ourselves up, feel guilty. And then we just, that's just a whole bad, vicious thing, right? That you just don't want to go there. You want to be excited about foods. You want to be excited about the great things you are able to now eat, bring into your day, the fantastic food you're going to be eating. You want to be focusing on how great they're going to make you feel, how wonderful you're going to feel when you start eating like this. You want recipes you love and that taste so good that you don't miss the crappy stuff, that you begin to feel better, that your digestive system is so much better. Therefore, more energy. Therefore, you look better. You look younger. All of these things are going on in your body. That's what bringing the right foods into your diet can do for you. That's where your focus should be. Not on what you have to give up, but what you are gaining from making this change. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this audio. There will be about 2 more audios coming. Okay, take care, everyone. Wishing you health and happiness. And remember, life's an adventure. It's time to start living it.